What is up everyone, this is Share Talking, welcome back to my channel. On today's video I will give you my first impressions of Dragon Quest III HD Remake. As an introduction, I haven't played too many Dragon Quest games. I did play the Dragon Quest V when I was a kid, played it for hours and hours. I could not beat because I didn't understand Japanese, and I didn't play many of the games because of them not being so easy to acquire through the years. And when I was an adult, I was not having enough time to play that many JRPGs, and I never went back to Dragon Quest. It is important to say that at the start because I don't have nostalgia glasses when playing this game. We will be talking about it in an objective perspective of someone that want to play a game in 2024. So, by not having any attachment to the series, I can tell you that the graphics are still a 10 out of 10. Amazingly done. You can see the 2D and 3D working super well together, just like when Square Enix designed Octopath Traveler and Live Alive, and now this game looks even better than any of those. They really nailed it on how to combine 2D art in a 3D environment that simulates what they call now as an HD 2D. The 3D lightning effects, shadow effects work so well even on the Nintendo Switch. This game is also full of customization. You are allowed to create the main character, and at the start of the game you have to answer a quiz with lots of different questions that will treat your character in different ways, giving you a personality, and the personality will affect your starting status and also your level ups. This same applies for future characters that you create or recruit. You can even change the personality later so that the characters will actually get the right status based on their roles or classes. So it's pretty interesting for those that love customization and like to create their own characters as well. Now, let's talk about the sounds. Well, the music of the game is amazing, and it was remastered for this new version. Any type of music, be it background music, battle music, and especially sound effects are extremely well done. You will not get tired of hearing any of those throughout the game. Now, the story is not as good. Of course, we are talking about an NES game released many years ago, but I have seen remakes that change the story of the original for good. They did, of course, made it a little better, but it is not enough. Of course, we are talking about a game released decades ago, but this is not really an excuse in 2024, since I have seen many remakes redoing the story so that it actually fits a modern audience. Those that want to see a grand tale will not be pleased. It's a very standard hero journey, and sometimes you will even forget what you are really doing in some place because the story is not all that clear about what you need to do next. But the fans of the original will love, since they already know the story, and it's even better now with more cutscenes and more text. You can also choose either a male or female protagonist. The old game had a very terrible user interface. For the first Dragon Quest games, they played it kind of like DOS games, and they fixed this in the HD remake, but not fully. Well, when you are fighting in this game, you still see a lot of messages on the screen, like you are playing a very old game. Like, hero attacked Slime. Slime took 100 damage. And then, now, Mage attacked Slime. Slime took 200 damage. Slime chooses to attack Hero. Hero takes 200 damage. Those things now don't exist in modern RPGs. It's everything on screen because it saves you enough time. And that leads us to the next topic, gameplay. And the gameplay could have been so much better, especially when talking about animations. You do not see your characters attacking the enemies. You can see the spell in attack animations, but not your characters performing the actions. So if you like retro-based games, you would not mind that at all. But if you are here for a modern experience, you may not like it like I did. I didn't enjoy that, especially because Dragon Quest XI have the characters attacking the enemies all in the screen. It was a decision they took to keep the original idea, but they could also just added an option. If you don't want to see the characters, toggle a button and everyone else can see them attacking. Still talking about the battle system, you have 3 types of speed to fight the enemies. And the first is kinda like nonsense. I don't know how many people have the patience to play at 1 time speed, because all the messages that appear on the screen will be extremely slow. You can even see the sound effects of a letter box appearing and scrolling through slowly. So everyone I have seen playing this game play on the highest speed, and even then, all the messages appearing still slows down everything. On 2024, we have seen games like Persona, like Romancing Saga. Romancing Saga is also a remake, and the fights can be finished super fast, and all the messages will appear on screen. You don't have to see that who is attacking who. There are methods to reduce the amount of messages on the screen. So it feels like half of the battle is messages appearing, and the other half is the attacks animation. And you will never see your characters performing them, besides seeing them entering the fight. Okay, if you don't mind about that, this is okay. If you are a fan of the Dragon Quest series, you are also used to seeing many of the games playing like this. So, I do believe that they could have made at least the combat system better. I am more akin to play a game with a bad story and a good gameplay than a game with a good story and a bad gameplay. In this case, I didn't like the story and I didn't like the gameplay as well. So, what am I left with? Nice graphics and a nice sound effect and soundtrack. Is that enough reason to play the game? It can be, because there are still good aspects about the gameplay. The class system, all the customization that you can do, even through the attacks animation, are all about the effects and all your characters performing them. You can still have a lot of fun, especially because the game is now much easier to understand and to play as a whole. I also didn't like that the random encounters are much like NES or Super NES era. You fight an enemy every 5 or 10 steps in a dungeon. It took me more than 2 hours to finish a dungeon, because I wanted to check every little bit of the dungeon for treasure chests, and it was a little too boring for me. You will not get level ups as fast. You should also fight way too much to get level ups. And the game also wants you to walk through every little pixel of the screen to check if there are items, especially on tiles, because even on the ground you can find special items. And that is something that I didn't like, because the cities are big and it can take you more than 1 hour to check everything. Game looks extremely well done, and we respect all the original fans. I really hope that it will bring me a better experience, especially since they are developing Dragon Quest I and II HD Remake, and I wanted to have them all in my library. But I will actually have to think a little more and play this game later. Well, after 5 hours playing the game in my live stream, I decided to stop and not continue, since I was not having enough fun. It's not that the game's not fun at all. It is, especially for those that like tabletop RPGs, class systems, customization, and love the Dragon Quest series. But for those that were looking for a more modern experience, they may not feel so rewarded. And it's a game that would take around 70 hours to finish, and I think it's a little too much to go for a game that you're not having enough fun. But if you like the series, if you like turn-based content with graphics that look amazing, it may be for you. This was just not enough for me. Anyway, that's my first impressions. I won't be covering the game on my channel. I may play it in a different time, but I just want to go back to Romancing Saga 2, since I'm enjoying that game much more than this one. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. What do you think about this all? Have you played Dragon Quest III? Are you enjoying? See here on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I hope to see you soon in the next video or live stream. Goodbye.